Hey guys, and welcome back to another Warframe video. Today we are going to be revisiting our Chroma solo Profit Taker build. I've amended him a bit since my last video, not a whole lot. The premise of the fight is still the same, but I just wanted to kind of run through it since it's been a while since I've really done a video on it, and I do get asked a bit about it, whether it still works or people have been dying a lot. So yeah, I just want to run through the build again. I have made a couple minor tweaks, and there is still a lot of room for improvement on this build, and as with all my builds, I just want to say the things I use here are personal preference. You know, I use them, use whatever you want. Just don't get offended by what I use, you know? So yeah, we'll run through the build. And if you guys have suggestions or think there are areas of improvement or things that would benefit me greatly, then please, obviously, do leave those down in the comments below. I'd be happy to go through them. So starting off, I have actually put on some violet shards here. They're not tau forged, so, you know, area for improvement. Just to get some electricity damage as a staple on my primary weapon. We then have a casting speed shard on here that is tau forged, and 2 crimson archon shards not tau forged, again on ability strength for, yeah, improvement areas there as well to get a bit more ability strength if you want. And the tau forged is casting speed, like I said. So yeah, looking at the Chroma build, similar to before. In fact, I think it might actually be exactly the same as before the Chroma build here. So we've got Grace on and Nullifier. The Nullifier is actually really useful. It stops you from obviously just losing all of your energy constantly, which does happen a lot during the Profit Taker fight, so do bear that in mind. And Grace, I have found to be a bit better than using something like Guardian, where it just buffs your armor up. We do get a lot of armor anyway, and Grace just provides us with that nice bit of health regen, just to keep us sort of steady as the fight goes on. We've got Preparation on just to start with that full 855 energy, which we're getting from Prime Flow, Prime Continuity, to give us extra duration, as well as Narrow-Minded as well to do that. We don't need any range on this build, so we've just sacked that completely. Smite Infusion, that's going to provide us with radiation damage on all of our weapons. Bear in mind that obviously as many elements as you can get on your weapons as possible is good, because we're going against the Profit Taker, which obviously requires a lot of different elements. So the more you can get, the better, and having Smite and Smite Infusion will provide radiation for all of your weapons. So that's one element just ticked off straight away. Vigorous Swap for more damage. We're going to be going between our weapons like crazy, so this is kind of a no-brainer, to be honest. And then Transient Fortitude for some additional strength alongside the 2 Umbral mods here. I do have an Umbral Former on. If you didn't put an Umbral Former on, just keep Umbral Intensify and then just put normal Vitality on. That should be fine. On my primary, I am running the Zenith. This is a personal preference. It does allow you to shoot the pylons that the Profit Taker distributes through their shields and through the floor and through anything. I am running gas and electric on mine. The electric is obviously coming from our Archon shards. And I do have a River mod on here for crit damage multi-shot with a negative. So this is actually a pretty beefy Riven mod, to be honest. It's what I use for my Eidolon hunts. So, yep, do bear that in mind. We then have ourselves, like I said, gas on here, so Hellfire and Infected Clip, and everything else is geared towards multi-shot and crit damage, as well as Vile Acceleration for some attack speed. The reason I'm not using Galvanized Chamber is just because, obviously, I'm not actually going to be killing any other enemies with this weapon. It is just going to be, yeah, me shooting, so Split Chamber just makes life a bit easier. Oh, and also I should mention that Primary Deadhead is, you know, just left on there. You could probably run something a lot better here, like Primary Frostbite if you wanted to run cold on this, or even Fractalized Reset or something like that, just to make your life a bit easier. But yeah, that's what I've just left on for now. The Laetum, my personal preference for secondary. There are much better options, believe me, but this is just what I've built into. I have on here 3 elements, so we've got Corrosive, Cold, and Magnetic. I'm using one of the new mods, Magnetic Might. This is kind of dumb, but to be honest, it's like the only weapon that I could fit this on in this build, the mod that I had for it as well, so yeah, just go with it. You could put the magnetic mod on your melee weapon. That would probably actually turn out a bit better. But yeah, we're running, again, similar to our primary, just a lot of multi-shot, and for the Laetum we're not running crit because we don't need it. And yeah, that's kind of it, really. Again, you could run a better Arcane than Secondary Merciless, it's just what I've left on. We are running an Exodia Contagion Saw, very important in fact. For this I have a River mod again, with super high melee damage and super high crit chance. This essentially guarantees me a orange crit, and as you'll see in a second, we are going to be running an Adarza Kavat, which allows me to hit red crits. So this does a ton of damage, and melee duplicate also works with this as well. I have tested it. So for those of you who don't know, melee duplicate does work with Exodia Contagion. You can get double hits. So yeah, this is just a super, super high damage crit build, and we're running Viral and Heat as the 2 elements on this. So Primed Fever Strike, North Wind, and Molten Impact. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about that. We are running Unairu. If you have Prime Sure-Footed, you do not need to do this, and you can run Madurai instead. But for me, unfortunately, I do not yet. I am actually only 4 days off. But we can use Poise in Unairu. This will essentially allow us to not get knocked down by the Profit Taker. Very important for this build, and for this mission, sorry. So yeah, definitely something to bear in mind. And then if we just move quickly onto our companion, Adarza Kavat, I have just formed him, that's why he's only ranked 12. But yeah, the essentials on here: Prime Pack Leader, Prime Element Instinct, Fetch, Prosperous Retriever, very important for this obviously, we're credit farming, so definitely throw this on. For reference as well, the Profit Taker drops credits in 50k chunks, so rather than it being a chance of doubling that 250k, you should, on every single run, at least get one of those chunks of cash doubled. So you might get an extra 50k on each run, or even more if you're lucky. That's basically how it should work. Because it is near as damn it 20% chance to double credits, and you get 5 lots of 50k in the mission. So that's why it's actually pretty good, and it gives you a more consistent credit return than the previous Kavat buff gave you. So that's the Kavat, and claws don't really matter. I've actually put on elusive posture just so it doesn't go darting into enemies. Gear-wise, obviously you need an arc gun deployer to do this. We are going to be running the Corvas Prime for this. I have just formed it again, so you know that's why it's ranked 2. But we've got Prime Rubido Barrel on, automatic trigger. I am aware that there is Prime Dual Rounds. I just don't have it on this account yet, but you know, if you do have it, definitely throw that on, obviously. Ammo chain. This essentially is going to allow us to have a lower cooldown on our arc gun deployer, and it will allow us to swap in and out faster, so definitely worth putting on. And then we're running magnetic, obviously, because we're against Corpus, so that's the element to run, and heat as well, because it just comes with that on the Corvus Prime. And everything else is geared towards fire rate, multi-shot, and crit damage and crit chance. And that's pretty much it for that. I will go ahead and just show you my operator as well, just to be thorough. So on my operator, I am running Magus Elevate. That allows me to swap in and out of my operator and heal my frame. So if my health is starting to look a bit dodgy, I can just spam Transference and I will get my health back up to full, and that will give me a bit more time to deal damage. So that's something worth noting. Nothing else on here matters. Your amp, you just need enough range on it to reset the Profit Taker's shield, if obviously you need to, and you don't have the element to hand. We're actually only missing one element on this build, which is Toxin. So if I quickly just pop down to the dojo and go to my dry dock. So my on-call crewmate here, you can see, is running the Kuva new core. And on this weapon, we do indeed run Toxin damage. Again, just 3 more mods, so that's where the extra element is covered off. And it does come in handy at the start of the mission. He'll probably die midway through, to be honest, but it helps a bit. So yeah, just worth noting. So yeah, without further ado, guys, we'll just get straight into a round of Profit Taker and see how we do. Alright guys, so we're going to just go ahead and get our Profit Taker bounty here. Like so. You can skip through the dialogue just by spam left clicking, in case you didn't know. And we'll get straight into the Orvalis. Now the first thing we're going to do when we land is we are going to activate our Vex armor. The reason being that we will still have shield when we land, which means that we can benefit from the additional armor that that's going to provide when it takes a hit from enemy units. Or you can do what I just did and activate it as soon as you get out of the gate. That's also an idea, but then remember that you do have to recast it a bit sooner. And we'll come over to those twin peaks in the center and then head over to the Profit Taker. So we'll get our on-call crewmate down. Make sure your Zenith is on the right fire mode. And that you're using the right weapon, that always helps. There we go, shield down, we can get our Corvus out. Now right here we are going to go around and just tap. We're not going to full charge because otherwise we'll get a bit of knockback. At most, it should take you 1 or 2 hits to take out each limb. 3 is kind of your limit, I guess. It is unfortunate that the Corvus has that rather unfortunate hitbox problem, but it is what it is. I am going to try and clean up some of these beacons. I don't want to get them too kind of hectic. Because, yeah, in the later stages of the fight, we will get quite a lot of nullifiers spawning, which may end up messing us up. So we'll just go ahead, get our Corvus out again. Nice, 1 hit on that one, and that one. Let's just make sure this stays up. We need our Call Crewmate here, unfortunately. He's a bit busy, so we're going to go ahead and just skip that one. There we go, shields down again. I'm unfortunately going to run out of Vex armor here, I think. Yep. So we're just going to have to be a bit careful. We will take a bit of a time hit here, it's got to be said. Goes. Once again, keep an eye out for the beacons. We can go ahead and just destroy those, wipe out a few of the enemies. I'm actually going to reload as well. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, dodge that. 4. Okay, so when these shields up, you will have a bit of trouble with the Zenith, I think. 5, there we go, I think that's it. Keep an eye on your health. And everything else for that matter. There we go. Last one. 2, 3, 4, and the finisher. There we go. A little over 3 minutes. We did have a little bit of a problem in the middle there. But not too bad. If that had been a clean run, it would have quite easily been sub 3. Now I'm going to park myself up just behind the left leg. Throw down my 4th. Let's see if we get any double credits. Nothing this time, unfortunately. But that's fine. What you can actually do while that's happening is activate a teleport back to Fortuna, just while you're waiting. And then you can get yourself out. Whoopsie. Didn't actually pick up the Crimson Toroid, but that's fine. And we're out, guys. So yeah, all in all, not too shabby. Much faster than you would be able to do solo index, so all in all, I think it's still, you know, way better. And I did scuff a bit in the middle there. We lost ourselves our Vex armor, which didn't help. We had to recast and we lost a lot of damage, so that was unfortunate, and it would have been sub 3 minutes had we not done that. But either way, hopefully it just goes to show that obviously doing Prophet Taker solo can be done, and that, yeah, it can be done comfortably, I think is the best way to put it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.